If you sell on eBay like me, then at some point in the past, you've made a sale, you went over to your boxes to get ready to ship, and you realized you just didn't have the right size box for what you're sending. Today, I'm going to show you 3 ways to turn the boxes you have into the boxes you need. Stick around for the third one. That one really blew my mind when I saw it for the first time. So, just a couple things before I get started. First, I am aware that shipping is a very subjective thing. What I do here might not be ideal for you. It works for me, and I've never had an issue with it. So, just take that with a grain of salt whenever I'm doing something here. If you don't agree with it, that's fine. Nobody has to, agree on everything. But this has worked for me in the past. So, I just want to acknowledge that not everybody ships the same way, and that's fine. But another thing you will need, well, you won't necessarily need it, but it will help, is one of these right here. This is a regular box cutter you can get on eBay for 10 to 15 bucks. I think I got mine for 15. What makes it different though is on the other end is this right here. It is a box perforator. It's a little wheel that you run along the cardboard to change the shape of the box and how it bends. You don't need it. You can use a straight edge razor. You can just use the blade of a regular box cutter. You can even use scissors, but the key is that you don't cut all the way through the box. You're just trying to score it. So for example here, I have a piece of scrap cardboard from a priority box I didn't need. And I have an audience, so bear with me for a second. You're gonna have to move. You're gonna have to move. Move. Okay, so just for an example, you would cut through the box, and you don't want to cut all the way through. You'd cut a line in the box, so right here, you can follow the perforation and the natural corrugation of the box if you're going one way, and it just helps the box bend another way. Let me show you the opposite way so you can see what I'm trying to do. So this right here, I'm going to cut this way. The key is, remember, I'm not cutting all the way through. Oops, sorry, you're not even in the shot. I'm not cutting all the way through. So what I did there was I cut a line right there in the cardboard, and I went against the corrugation. And what that does is it helps me bend the box into a different shape. It helps me bend it where instead of it being flat, now I have a different edge. And you'll see how that comes into play whenever I start making the boxes. So you can do it with a regular blade like I just did. But this right here, let me get you a better angle on that. Sorry, I thought I had this right here, this wheel that comes on the back side of this, there's no blade required. It just perforates the cardboard with holes, and it makes it to where you can bend it. So not necessary, but definitely helpful. Okay, so those are 2 little housekeeping notes. First, I know everybody ships differently. Not everybody ships the same way. That's fine. Hopefully today I can show you how I do it, how I resize my boxes, and it'll help you in the future. So that being said, let's get to the first item. One more thing, a question that probably needs to be answered is why we reshape boxes. The first and most obvious one is to help reduce shipping costs. The bigger the box, if it's unnecessarily large, the measurements could cause you to pay more for shipping. The second one is to protect our item. The less empty space we have in our boxes, the more protected our item is. With void fill and bubble wrap, you want less space so the item doesn't move around as much in shipping. So that's why it's important to make sure you have the right box for the item you're shipping. So the first method of resizing a box that I'm going to show you is one you might be familiar with if you have been watching any reselling channels for any length of time. This is the most common, simplest, easiest way to reshape a box. So in this example, I have this right here, a Hallmark keepsake ornament, and the box I have is way too tall for the item. So if I ship this like this, you can see how much space there is in the box, and that's just going to move around too much to protect the item. So what I need to do is I need to decrease the space from top to bottom to the item to make sure it doesn't have as much room to move around. So I'm going to take out my box resizing tool. Again, I'm using the wheel. You can use a razor blade or even the blade of a scissor, as long as you don't cut through the box. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to go down into this box, and I'm going to roll my wheel directly above the item. I'm sorry for the lighting, but I'm going to make sure I'm directly above the item, and I'm going to go across the box on all 4 sides and perforate the inside of this box. So again, I'm going to make sure I'm right above the item and just roll my wheel across. I'll show you this whenever I get done. I'll show you what the inside of the box looks like. And it's important that you try and stay on the same level all the way across the box. Otherwise, if you have a wavy cut or a wavy perforation, then the box, when you bend it down, is going to come out uneven. So again, just going to do the last 2 sides of this box, and then I'll show you what I have. Well, I didn't do a very good job on that last one. I rushed it. But, so, on the inside of this box, let me get this item out of the way. I have perforations along the walls of the box. You can see it right there. It's a pretty good one. You can see, well, so I'm trying to get the angle's weird for me because I'm looking at the camera. But right here, you can see that line that I made with the wheel. So now the box is going to want to bend on that line whenever I do this next step. Next up, I'm going to take the blade side of my cutter and I'm going to cut the corners of these boxes all the way around down to that perforation line. Okay, so I'm just going to put my knife through at that line. Watch your finger come up through, well, come up through the flap. I kind of messed that one up. This is a demonstration though, so I'm not too worried about it. Again, on this one, come up through, come up through, and come up through. So now what I have here is I have a box that is cut. These 4 flaps are now freestanding, and I have a line that I've made with perforations where this box is going to want to bend. Okay, so I'm just going to bend these down on that line I created with the perforation. The box is willing to bend on that line. Okay, on all 4 sides, the box is willing to bend. You may need to cut the excess of this off, which, you know, that's, you know, fairly simple to do. You just cut the excess off. Now, if you can avoid cutting the excess off, go ahead. All that's going to do is offer more protection for the item you're shipping. So in this case, what I would do, since those are now shorter, is I would bend these 2 down first, and then I would bend these 2 down. Yeah, I told you on that last cut I was not really even, which again, just for demonstration purposes. But now, well, that wasn't even at all. Yeah, it was. It'll be fine. So now what I would do is I would tape this. That looks like garbage. What I did wrong, you can see it right here. I got way off with that perforation line. Okay, let me see if I can fix it just by bending it. Yeah, there we go. I just had it bent on the wrong line. But now what we have here is a box that I can tape and ship out that will protect the item from moving around as much. You can see where the item is now inside. Pull these back so you can see it's right there near the top. So it's not going to have as much room to move around. Once I get my void fill, my bubble wrap around this item, I fold these flaps in, I tape it down, it's ready for a label, smaller box, and it'll be protected on its way. Again, this is kind of sloppy. I went kind of fast on it to try and show you guys. Normally it's a nice square box, but I guess me trying to keep the box held at an angle where you could see it, I didn't really do a good job on that one. But you get the general idea. You know, this is not ideal right here. See how, what I messed up on was on this side, the perforation line that I went through on this side is a lot lower than this side. So it made this slow. That's why you got to be careful when you're going through the box on the inside, that the line you're perforating is even all the way around, or you end up with something like this. Which, you know, it's not ideal, but this, excuse me, this will ship just fine. I mean, it's ugly, but it will protect the item better than what you had before with the excess space. So this next one I'm going to show you, I actually found about 6 months ago or so. I had Hot Wheels to ship out, and I didn't have the right box for it. So I was kind of in the same situation you might be in right now. So I hopped on YouTube and I searched for the best way to make a box for it, and I found the video. I'll link it in the comments down below, or in the description down below. But basically, I'm going to turn this box right here. This is an 8x6x4 eBay box. You can buy these with your store subscription. But honestly, this will work for boxes of any size. But I'm going to turn this into this. This right here has a Hot Wheel in it ready to go. Very handy if you're shipping smaller things, and you know, I can with this box I can make 2 of these. So I can make 2 boxes to send 2 Hot Wheels with 1 box. Really neat trick. Let me show you. So I'm going to be showing you using a Hot Wheel because that's what I used this for last time. Again, you can use boxes of bigger sizes to make bigger examples of what I showed you before. But to start, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this box right here and I'm going to cut it in half where the seam inside the box is. I'll show you when I open it up. I'm just going to cut it right there. So you can see on this box right here, this is where the seam was, right here. And then I'm going to cut it in half again, right here in the middle. So now I'm left with 2 identical boxes that I can use to make 2 of the boxes I showed you before. So first thing I want to do is center the Hot Wheel or whatever I'm going to be shipping right here in the middle of the bigger side. So you can see there's 2 different sizes where the original seam was. There's 2 different sizes left on the cardboard. This is the side I'm worried about right now. So I'm going to put this right here in the middle. Let me get you a better angle. Oh, there we go. I'm going to put you right here in the middle of this box, of this cardboard. Again, you can use a razor blade. I'm going to use the perforation wheel. Now once I have it centered roughly in the middle of this box, you want to be careful not to nick the cardboard of the backer or damage whatever you're shipping. But I'm going to follow the line, the corrugated line. Let me just do it this way first so I can get the base. So I'm going to cut right along the bottom of the Hot Wheel. I'm going to perforate right there. Okay. So again, before, like I showed you, this is going to fold up in a second. Now I rotate it. I have my line that I want to keep this on. I'm going to keep it right there. And I'm going to follow one of the corrugated lines on the box itself for that right there. Rotate it. Again, follow the top of the backer of the cardboard. Careful not to cut it open or run over it with the spoke. And then finally one last line for this right here. Okay, so now what we're left with is this right here. This is where the Hot Wheel is going to go, and these are all going to turn into the box itself. Okay, so these are going to fold up. I hope I made that tall enough. I might not have. We'll see. So in this case, there we go. This is what the box is going to eventually look like. So I need to cut these right here to make them fold in, to make them flaps. So I'm going to cut this right here. Same on this one. And then over here, same thing. These are going to be the flaps that fold in to make the base of the box. And right here. Well, there we go. Okay. So now you see where we're going with this. These are going to fold up. Right? Hot Wheel's going to sit right here in the middle. Let me make sure. So what I'm going to do real quick is get these taped up so it stays in place. Just for demonstration purposes, so I can. Okay. Another one right here. Okay, so now you can kind of see what we're going to end up working with, right? This is going to fold up, and this right here is going to become our lid. This flap right here is going to become our lid. So, what I do here is I flip it over. Let me make sure. Yeah, so I was a little off on my initial measurement, which is fine. This is going to be excess cardboard that I can just get rid of. There we go. Problem solved on that end. Alright, so now I have the box for my Hot Wheel, and I just need the lid. So I flip this over like this. You can see the lid is now, this is the lid. I just need to make this fit the box itself. So now that I have the shape of the box I'm going to have, these side flaps, I'm going to perforate again. And I'm just going to run my spokes along the edge of the box. This is where you would run your razor blade if you don't have a box resizer like I do. Fold these down. So now those are the sides of the box. And up here, same thing. Run the spoke all the way across the edge. Now these corners right here where the perforations intersect, these are going to go away. These right here are going to come off like that. Same on this side here. Brand new blade, pretty sharp, so it's kind of cutting through. Alright, so now we have our box. You fold the flaps down, this front flap folds down as well, and we just tape it in place. Now the only thing I will say about doing this method, and I'm not sure if it's going to be true for every box, but I know for this box in particular, the eBay 8x6x4 box, it does leave a gap right here on both sides where the original seam was on the box. So just be sure to tape over that to protect your Hot Wheel, whatever you're shipping from water. You would just put some tape over that. That's too much tape. But you would just cover those holes up to protect your item. And then your shipping label goes on top, and that's ready to go. That'll offer protection for the Hot Wheel. It won't get bent or damaged in the mail. Very useful. I know Hot Wheel collectors in particular are very particular about the condition of the cardboard backer. You don't want to use a bubble mailer for these, so any kind of protection you can give for this item in particular would be great. And like I said, that one box, the 8x6x4 eBay box, gave me two eBay boxes, two shipping boxes for Hot Wheels. So it's great money saver. You can always buy these online, buy 5x7x2 boxes on eBay to ship those out. Ooh, sorry. You can always buy 8x7x2 boxes to ship out Hot Wheels. But if you had those on hand, then you wouldn't be here anyway. This is how to make those kind of boxes to ship that out. And now on to the last one, which blew my mind when I first saw it. Let me show you. Now for this example, again, I'm going to be using the eBay 8x6x4 box. So sometimes when you're shipping an item out, you are very close to having the right size you need, right? You have your box ready to go. You got to ship this out. But unfortunately, that's how it's going to fit in the box. Not ideal. Obviously, this isn't going to work. Now, this trick I saw online absolutely blew me away. So it's really simple. It's the simplest of the two I just showed you. So this right here, you take it out, and all you do is you take your box cutter, and you cut these flaps right here. Now, you know, you can mark it for a bigger item. For smaller boxes like this, I'm able to see roughly where the middle is. You just cut this flap right here. You cut the edge flap right down the middle on both sides. That side. This doesn't have to be exactly going this small. Close enough will win the race. You flip it over, you cut the corresponding flaps right down the middle. Same thing on this side, right down the middle. So now what you're left with is the same box, same exact shape. Like if I were to fold this back down, you would never be able to tell that there was anything different. But it's on both sides, this flap has been cut in half, right? Both ends, both sides. You can see right here, both sides. And now all you do is on the inside of the box, you put your hand and you bend it. Just like that. See how I did that? Where the two cuts are, you put your finger on the inside of the box and you bend it. Again, on this side, you can see I'm just going to line up my finger where the two cuts are, brace it on the outside, and bend it. It'll bend right where you cut the two flaps, okay? So now you just start building your box back up. Put your inner flaps down first, and you put your outer flaps down like this. So basically, I'm just going to tape that really so you can see roughly. Basically, all I did was I changed the shape of the box. It's the same exact amount of cardboard. I didn't have to reduce it. I didn't have to perforate. I didn't have to, you know, shrink it. I put my item in there. Put those flaps all the way down. And you know, obviously, you would want to put your void fill, your bubble wrap around it first. There's plenty of room in here for that. And you just tape it shut. And there you have it. It's the box you had that wouldn't fit the item with just 4 small cuts. I now have a box that will fit the item. Now I will say, similar to the last thing I showed you, where the joints in the flap are right here, where the original perforation was, there are going to be gaps like this right here. So you just want to fill that up with tape. This method does require you to use a bit more tape to cover these holes in. You're going to have to use a little bit more tape than you normally would. But if you don't have the box you need, this right here is a great way to get it. So now with a bit more tape, this item is ready to go. I just slap my shipping label on it, and you can see this is the box I started with. Right here. This is the box I started with. And this is the box I ended with. Completely different shape, which is great if your item is just a little bit too long to fit the box you have. Awesome. Completely blew my mind when I saw that. It's made my life a lot easier. I've run into that situation a few times since I found that that video or the video I saw online about, you know, doing that. It saved my butt a few times. I didn't have the right size box. Four small cuts. I'm ready to go. And that's it, guys. That's 3 ways to resize or reshape your boxes to give you the box you need with what you have. Hopefully it helped you out. If you learned anything from this video or you like what you saw, I know it was kind of sloppy in places, you know, still getting used to this whole YouTube thing. But if you like what you saw, please leave a like down below. Subscribe for more content. I do reselling and thrifting videos. Well, I haven't done thrifting lately with the coronavirus pandemic, but I do reselling videos, eBay videos, shipping videos I'm going to start doing. Hopefully you learned something from this right now, though. Until next time, guys, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for hanging out with me today.